Shalom, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai. Let's give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, and double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone, that taught us this word. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect across the planet pushing this truth. I just want to talk about, when Yahushai returns and sets up, the nation, sets up his men and his kingdom, we're never going to go down again as a people. One of our main punishments is that we went into slavery. We were put at the bottom of the barrel, in this society. But, that affliction is only temporary, man. The hell that we caught in this country was because, we went off on law, statutes, and commandments, that the Most High set up. Sacrificing to idols, committing adultery, physical adultery as well as spiritual adultery, going to other gods, worshiping the gods of the heathens, and all that, taking part in their customs. So the Most High, threw us in slavery, man. But this is going to be the last go around, because when the Lord comes back, He's going to establish, a new covenant to where, we're going to keep it perfect, keep the law, statutes, and commandments perfectly. This is Ezekiel 39:21. And I will set my glory among the heathen, and all the heathen shall see my judgment that I have executed, and my hand that I have laid upon them. Yeah, that day is coming real soon, man. It says, Scripture says, the Most High's determination, to gather the nations, over there in the Middle East. This is determination to gather these nations so He can, burn them with the fire of His jealousy, man. This is His righteous indignation, which are those nuclear missiles. And that's the judgment the Most High is going to set on these other nations, these heathens, and upon Esau, as well as, slavery, for 1,000 years. They're going to have to go into slavery. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. So the house of Israel shall know that I am the Lord their power from that day forward. Yeah, there's not going to be any, confusion. There's not going to be any Christianity or any Muslim, Arabic, confusion, Arabic doctrines, all these doctrines out here. You're going to know who Yahweh is and their sons and Yahweh's son. His name is Yahushai. And we're going to know those names. And our people as a whole is going to worship those names and worship Yahushai in His kingdom. Man. It says from that day forward, so we're never going to go off. And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity. Yeah, because they went off, because Israel went off, man. Not because they're smarter than us or stronger than us, because this is our punishment put upon us by, the Heavenly Father, man. And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity, because they trespass against me. Therefore I hid my face from them and gave them into the hand of their enemies. So they fell. So fell they all by the sword. Yeah, we fell as a whole nation, man. Even unto this very day, our people, have no clue who they are. They don't want to know. They don't care to know. Even though they're searching for something. Israel have not obtained it, what they've been looking for an identity. Our people have not received it, even though they're searching for it, because Most High has them blocked, really. And gave them into the hand of their enemies. We've been in the hand of our enemies for a very long time, man. And it's time for us to come up out of it, man. We're seeing it. We hasten in the day in this thing, man. So we can get up out of our enemies' hands, man. We want the Lord to return, We want the Lord to destroy this place. According to their uncleanliness and according to their transgressions have I done unto them. I hid my face from them. Yeah, the Most High still has his face hid from us, man. But He's about to come back. Israel restored. He's about to restore the nation real soon, man. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power. Now will I bring again the captivity of Jacob and have mercy upon the whole house of Israel, and will be jealous for my holy name. And after they have borne their shame in all their trespasses where they have trespassed against me, when they dwelt safely in their land, and none made them afraid. Yeah, when they would have brought them again from the people and gathered them out of their enemies' lands and sacrificed them in the sight of many and sanctified them, Salah. When I have brought them again from the people and gathered them out of their enemies' lands. Yeah, because we're currently in the lands of our enemies, man. We're scattered. We've been scattered all across the planet Earth, man. You got Israel in every nation, man. So the Lord's gonna gather, you know, all the nation of Israel, man, out from these different lands. Mainly, the deliverance is gonna take place here in America. The salvation is gonna take place here in America, Babylon the Great. The Lord's gonna gather them from all over the planet Earth, man. And I'm sanctified them, and am sanctified in them, in the sight of many nations. Yeah, nations are gonna know. They're gonna know, man. Then shall they know that I am the Lord of power, which caused them to be led into captivity among the heathen. But I have gathered them unto their own land, and have none of them any more there. Neither will I hide my face any more from them, for I have poured out my spirit upon the house of Israel, saith the Lord power, Yahweh. Yes, let's flip this to NLT. Ezekiel 39 and 25. So now, this is what the sovereign Lord says. I will end the captivity of my people. I will have mercy on all Israel. For I jealously guard my holy reputation. They will accept responsibility for their past shame and unfaithfulness after they come home to live in peace in their own land with no one to bother them. Yeah, we're going to accept responsibility, man. We're going to hold ourselves accountable for that shame, man. Mainly two-thirds, the two-thirds that come back, they're going to have that shame. But they're going to live in peace, and no one's going to bother them. There's going to be no other nation to rise up, to take us down. When I bring them home from the lands of their enemies, I will display my holiness among them for all the nations to see. Then my people will know that I am the Lord their power, because I have sent them away to exile and brought them home again. I will leave none of my people behind. Yeah, all Israel's going to be saved eventually. But on this go around, it's just going to be the elect, 2/3 of our people are going to have to die first, and then they'll be brought back. And I will never again turn my face from them, for I will pour out my spirit upon the people of Israel. Yeah, man. So, Lord, He's going to restore the nation, as I said, And when it's restored, it's never going to go down. This is Baruch 4-6. You were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, because you moved the Most High to wrath. You were delivered unto the enemies. Now, how do we move the Most High to wrath? The iniquity. Trespassing against me, from against him, man. Going off on the law, statutes, and commandments. For you provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not to the Most High. Idols, man. Heavy into that idol worship. You have forgotten the everlasting power that brought you up, and you have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you. But yeah, the point, man, it says you were sold unto the nations, not for your destruction, but because you moved the Most High to wrath, you were delivered unto our enemies, and the enemies of these other nations, man. So it says right here, the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity. We went under all these other nations. We went into slavery under all the nations, man. Read the book of Judges. Because they have trespassed against me, therefore I hid my face from them, man. So yeah, we're sold to the nation not for our destruction because we move the Most High to wrath. But when Yahushua comes back and establishes that second covenant, the new covenant, we're never going to go off again, man. It's that Jeremiah 31 and 31. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. So that proves, man, we're not in the new covenant right now, man. Because our people are still going way the hell off, man. Our people get worse and worse every year, man. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break. Although I was a husband unto them, saith the Lord. Yeah, we broke that original covenant, man. We went way the hell off, and so we were sold into the nations because of it. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith the Lord, will I put my law in their inward parts, and write it in their hearts and their minds, and will be their power, and they shall be my people. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord, Yahweh Shai, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith the Lord power. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. Yes, so it says, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor. You're not going to see the prophets. You're going to have prophets out there on the street corners, in the kingdom, teaching the word, because it's going to be within us. It's going to be within our minds. He's going to write it in their hearts, which is their mind, and in their inward parts, Yeah, that's the point. That's the point. They shall know, they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know Yahweh Shai. You're not gonna have to push the name. We're not gonna have these debates, debating on what the name is. Everyone's gonna know that name. The name's Yahweh and the son's name Yahweh Shai. There's not gonna be any contention over that. Everybody's gonna have the light, man. And that's when the blessing's gonna come, man. It's Ezekiel 34 and 25. And I will make with them a covenant of peace. I will cause the evil beasts to cease out of the land, and they shall dwell safely in the wilderness and sleep in the woods. And I will make them and the places round about my hill a blessing, and will cause the shower to come down in its season, and there shall be showers of blessings for him. Yes, that's what we're waiting for, to flip these curses, man, because right now we're getting showered with the curses. We're getting overtaken and showered with these curses, so the Lord's going to flip it, once he establishes that new covenant, there's going to be showers of blessings, man. You're going to flip them curses onto blessings. And the tree shall yield her fruit, and the earth shall yield her increase, and they shall be safe in their land, and shall know that I'm the Lord. When I have broken the bands of their yoke, it's slavery, man, and deliver them out of the hand of those that serve themselves of them. Yeah, the heathen, they have served themselves. He said he's going to break that yoke that was sold to the nations, man. We went into captivity for their iniquity, but the Lord's going to break that yoke. And they shall no more be a prey to the heathen, neither shall the beasts of the land devour them, but they shall dwell safely, and none shall make them afraid. It's part of the curses, man. Living in fear, no surety of our life. And the Lord's going to remove that, man. None shall make them afraid. We're not going to have that fear anymore, only the fear of our power, man. Yahweh Yahushai. And I will rise, and I will raise up for them a plan of renown, and they shall be no more consumed with the hunger of the land, neither bear the shame of the heathen any more. Thus shall they know that I, the Lord their power, am with them, and that they, even the house of Israel, are my people, saith the Lord power, Yahweh. And ye are my flock, the flock of my pasture are men, and I am your power, saith the Lord power. How about Shem Yahushai? Yeah, the pastor of our flock are men, and they're going to know it. These women are going to know it. That patriarchy is going to come back, and the women are going to be okay with it. The patriarchy that the Lord set up, Yahweh, Yahushai, man, woman, child, that's the order, But it is an excuse. It says, and they shall know that I am the Lord of their power. Yahweh, Yahushai, man. We just read, man, you're not going to have to teach nobody. And they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them. It's Joel 3:16. And the Lord, Yahweh, also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake, but the Lord will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. So shall ye know that I am the Lord your power, Yahweh Yahushai, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be holy, and there shall no strangers pass through her anymore. Yeah, ain't gonna be no heathens passing through, in the land of Israel, man. They're all gonna go back to their lands, the land that the Most High set them up to be in. How Hashem Yahushai set them up to be in. They're gonna have their land with Israel, the holy mountain, the holy government, Then shall Jerusalem be holy, the holy city separate, and there shall no strangers pass through her anymore. That's what to come, man. Yeah, we're never gonna go down, man. No one's gonna spoil us ever again, rob us ever again, throw us in slavery. Yeah, but they're gonna go into slavery, under us. And Israel, the elect, the hopeful elect, man, they're gonna rule with that iron rod, man. This is Isaiah 49:22. Thus saith the Lord power, behold, I will lift up my hand to the Gentiles, and set up my standard to the people, and they shall bring their son, they shall bring thy sons in their arms, man. And thy daughters shall be carried upon their shoulders, man. And kings shall be thy nursing fathers, and their queens thy nursing mothers. They shall bow down to thee with their face toward the earth, and lick up the dust of thy feet. And thou shalt know that I am the Lord. For they shall not be ashamed that wait for me. Yeah, so, they're going to be in a subservient servitude position, man. These heathens, man, these other nations. They're going to take care of our sons and our daughters the way we had to, raise their sons and their daughters, man. So they're going to be propped up. They shall bring thy sons in their arms, and thy daughters shall be carried upon their shoulders, man. The king shall be the nursing fathers, queens and nursing mothers, man. They're gonna be serving us to the utmost. And they shall bow down. That's the point. They shall bow down with their face toward the earth and lick up the dust of thy feet. Yes, it represents slavery, man, being subservient. We're gonna have power. Lord's gonna give us that power back, man. over these other nations, man. Their face toward the earth, bowing down, you know. That's the ultimate sign of submission. When you bow down to another person, you bend the knee. Talk about that in Game of Thrones. You bend the knee. But yeah, that's the point. Just when this new covenant is established, it will be established. The Lord's gonna, I'll put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts and in their minds. Gonna program us to be perfect. So we're not gonna be sold off to the nations ever again. We're not gonna go down. Strangers aren't gonna be up in the land of Israel. Polluting the land, desecrating the land with their ways. It's gonna be a beautiful thing. They're gonna know. Right now, they walk around with their head up high, their nose up in the air when they see you walking. Think they're better than you. But he's gonna know. Yeah, we went down because we, upset. We brought the Lord to anger. With that, shalom.